the right decision for you and your family. Boss Retirement Solutions, right here in Utah, offers a free, comprehensive pension review for individuals with $300,000 or more in retirement savings. Call 801-896-9622 for your free analysis now. That's 801-896-9622. 801-896-9622.
Advisory services offered through Boss Retirement Advisors, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products and services offered through Boss Retirement Solutions.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, during our President's Day sale, take 50% off our limited edition bed, plus free home delivery with any bed and base. Ends Monday. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, today through Sunday. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, today through Sunday. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Deep, deep discounts. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Today, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Movie reviews and Hollywood news. The KSL Movie Show.
All right, a little bit of movie news today. First of all, did you watch any of the trailers during the Super Bowl? I forgot to ask you that last week, Rachel.
Yeah, it was a pretty bland group. Nothing too exciting.
Project Hail Mary.
Yeah, which we'd seen most of that trailer before.
Well,
most
not
of that
all
footage.
of us had.
Okay.
Now, although Disclosure Day from Steven Spielberg, this was the first time we were getting a look at extended footage from that movie.
Yeah.
Then we had
cool.
Star Wars, The Mandalorian, and Grogu. Now, that clip was terrible,
right?
but then we got a full trailer earlier this week.
Yeah.
That was actually about
decent, yeah.
the movie. And then Minions and Monsters. I don't know how I didn't know that movie was coming out until I saw that trailer.
I knew that there was the third Minions, but I didn't know about this Monsters part, so that was interesting.
Yeah. Then we had the Super Mario Galaxy movie, which we finally got to look at. My kids are excited about that one. And then speaking of trailers, Toy Story 5. Did you see the trailer yesterday?
I actually forgot. I have not
Rachel,
seen it. I know.
I thought
sorry.
you were a Disney fan. We do get explanation of how Woody has made it back.
Okay.
He comes back. In fact, there's a joke about Woody's aging. You know, remember when Wayne Knight sprayed his hair back on his bald spot? Well, his bald spot's back. It's become rubbed off again, you know. But he walks in, and then the sun glints off of it onto everybody's eyes. So you do get an explanation of why Woody's back, and you get a little bit more plot from the movie.
Did it make you excited? Or
I mean, I've liked all 4 of the movies.
Yeah.
I'm not one who thinks that it should have ended after 3, and that's fine if you are.
Yeah.
But I've just enjoyed each one that we've got.
I liked the 4 as well. I didn't like Lightyear.
Yeah.
That was weird.
That was the kitty, the cat in that movie was really funny. I did like that a lot.
Yeah.
And then you wanted to, you shared something with me that I had heard something about. Local author Brandon Sanderson. Tell us really quickly about what's happening with Brandon Sanderson's projects, because Apple TV what are the Cosmere books? I don't know these.
Yeah, so they're fantasy books. And Brandon Sanderson, he's a very popular author and speaker, and they've deal.
Oh, it's the Mistborn series.
Yeah, it says the deal gives the author rarefied control over the screen translations, and so the level of involvement that not even J.K. Rowling or George R.R. Martin enjoys. So this is pretty big.
Yeah, so if you're a
for
fan of
Brandon.
Brandon Sanderson, you're going to get to see, and I will say this, Apple TV usually does a good job on the projects that
Yeah,
they
that's
fund.
true.
So that gets me even more excited to see this. I haven't read a lot. In fact, I don't know if I've read any of Brandon Sanderson's books, but I have a lot of friends who are fans of his series.
He was actually in one of my singles wards.
Oh,
Brandon
really?
Sanderson, yeah. And I actually was an early ARC reader for his book Atlantis. I mean, I would guarantee he would not remember who I am at all. But yeah, so I gave him early feedback.
All right, so that's a bit of movie news, and I guess that's technically streaming news as well.
Yeah.
So here's what we've got. We do have a few other movies that came out. You got a chance to see the movie Pillion, which
Yes.
I get the feeling that's going to have a somewhat limited appeal among our
Yes.
listeners.
So it's about this mousy, awkward young man who starts this
It's
relationship.
Dudley Dursley,
Yes.
the
he starts
actor who plays Dudley anyway.
He starts his relationship with Alexander Skarsgård, who's very cold and rigid, and it's kind of 50 Shades of Grayish in that way, like
with two dudes.
Yeah, with two dudes, and. I like obviously I'm a Hallmark girl, so I like a movie with a little more warmth and kindness than this. It wasn't really for me, but
it's out there.
it's there
There
if
you
it's
go.
your thing.
Now tell us about Kokuho.
Yes. So this is a Japanese film about a young man who is practicing to learn the art of kabuki, which
Yes.
is a performance art where men play women and there's dance involved and other things like that. And he also has this rival.
Think of the cartoon ending of Mulan when they sneak into the palace.
Yeah. But there's a rival, and the movie basically follows these two young men and their rivalry, and they're performing for many decades. It's a long film; it's 3 hours long. So
Oh, my.
it definitely earned that makeup nomination, makeup and hair that it got. Because all the costuming, the production, and I'm glad I saw it because it's just cool to get to know a whole different culture and this tradition and learn about kabuki, and the acting is quite good.
Okay.
And I liked it.
And it's up for the Oscar for Best Makeup?
Makeup and hair.
Makeup
yeah.
and hair. Okay.
Yep.
Now, there was another movie that came out that I saw. Oh, I should probably try to go see this. It's called Psycho Killer. And it says a police officer tracks a killer after her husband, a highway patrolman, becomes one of his victims. And then I read the description that the studio sent me. And when I got to the part where it says, as she does this, she realizes the level of the depths of his sadistic acts, and my car just exploded, and it didn't even bother to break down on the way to the theater.
Horror Hive has told me it's not good.
All right, so that's
so
Psycho
I listen
Killer.
to them when they tell me.
Okay, they
Yeah,
know better.
they
and
do.
They're the ones who would like it in the first place. So it's rated R. That's called Psycho Killer. Now, also on Netflix, I did see a few episodes of a cartoon called Strip Law, and before you think what it is, it's only partially what it sounds like. It's about the Las Vegas Strip, and it's an animated series with the voices of Adam Scott, Janelle James, Stephen Root, and Keith David. And he's a lawyer on the Las Vegas Strip, and it's kind of in the vein of like BoJack Horseman. It really is. It's kind of silly, hyper. They can do things that are goofy, and the Tucker and Birdie show. It's got kind of that little
Adult
bit of
Swim kind of.
Yes, very Adult Swim, and it's very adult too. It does have some funny moments. I didn't find it as funny or as like. I didn't think the characters were as interesting as BoJack Horseman. Which, if you've never seen BoJack Horseman. It's not for everybody, but it's
hard
really
to
well
describe.
done. It really is. So that is available. I got through about 3 episodes. They're half hour each. And that's on Netflix. It is rated M for mature. And then the last thing he told me got season 2, actually, of the last thing he told me. This is the Jennifer Garner series that's on Apple TV+. Jennifer Garner and Andrew Rice play a mother and daughter. And Jennifer Garner's husband disappears one day, just disappears. They can't find him. They can't find any trace. They don't know why he's gone. They don't know what's going on. But then there's like this whole mystery behind it. I only got through half of season 1, so I don't know how season 1 ended. So I didn't want to start season 2 without having gotten the resolution for season 1. So
I never even heard of that one.
It's on Apple TV, so they do it really good, and I like Jennifer Garner, and it was a good mystery, and it got a season 2, so that means enough people watched it that it got renewed. So I don't know if it'll get a season 3, but that is everything that's out this week. Our big movie of the week was I Can Only Imagine. Rachel, you were...
I Can Only Imagine 2.
Oh, yeah, I Can Only Imagine 2. I gave it a B, and you were fresh.
Fresh.
How to Make a Killing, the Glenn Powell murder movie. I gave it a C-.
Mild fresh.
Mild fresh for you. And then there was some horror, and then there was a British movie called Midwinter Break. You liked Midwinter Break?
Yeah.
But it's going to kind of be kind of boring.
Yeah, it's like another mild fresh.
All right, and then I highly recommend The Night Agents Season 3, especially if you like The Night Agents.
Redux, that's the one.
And you liked Redux.
Very good.
All right, for Stone, for Rachel, Paulette, JD, and back at the studio, Corey and Gustavo. We'll get you next week on The Movie Show.
Yay.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. A major blow to the Trump administration today as the United States Supreme Court rules against the use of a National Emergencies Act to impose global tariffs.
John Roberts says the president has asserted an extraordinary power to unilaterally impose tariffs, but he says to do it, the president must identify clear congressional authorization.
President Trump saying he will find other ways to make sure tariffs go forward while also slamming the justices who ruled against him.
They're just being fools and lapdogs for the rhinos and the radical left Democrats, and not that this should have anything at all to do with it. They're very unpatriotic and disloyal to our Constitution.
The time is 1 o'clock on Friday, February 20th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, we'll go in depth on the ruling itself, plus what economists think the ruling will or will not do for consumer prices. Also this hour,
it's a huge burden for families and caregivers, in addition to the person living with ALS.
Actor Eric Dane's passing from ALS has brought the disease back into the national spotlight. We will chat with doctors here in Utah to find out more about the disease and how to support those who have it. But first, our top stories. Students at Murray High School were forced to evacuate after a fire broke out in the school woodshop this morning. Murray City School District Superintendent Jennifer Covington says thankfully nobody was hurt, and it only took a few minutes for teachers and staff to get all the kids outside.
It wasn't easy. It was during passing time when the alarms went off. So students weren't actually in a class. They were transitioning between classes. And so to get 1,350 students out into the evacuation areas in the amount of time that they did and make sure everyone was safe went really well.
The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Classes will be online next week while the crews clean up. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Inside the briefing room at the White House this afternoon, President Trump delivering his initial reactions to the 6-3 Supreme Court ruling that invalidated many of his tariffs.
I wanted to be very well behaved because I wanted to do anything. I didn't want to do anything that would affect the decision of the court, because I understand the court. I understand how they are very easily swayed. I want to be a good boy.
President saying he is absolutely ashamed and deeply disappointed in the justices and says he will find other ways to tax imports on foreign countries. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the market's liking the judge's decisions. The Dow up by 150 points, sitting at 49,545. S&P up by 37, and the NASDAQ up by 157 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.44% on savings at uccu.com. Here's Ricky Meese.
We do have the final cleanup of a crash that at one point had the road closed in West Valley. Northbound Redwood Road near 3500 South. A lane or two still blocked, but you can get through the area. You do have good speeds on the valley freeways, but higher elevations, especially Big and Little Cottonwood Canyon, light snowfall. The road surface is mostly wet, but slushy in some spots the higher up you go towards the slopes. Traffic's rough, but your parking lot doesn't have to be. GoPave Utah keeps things smooth with expert asphalt maintenance at GoPaveUtah.com. That's GoPaveUtah.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Still a good chance of scattered showers across the Wasatch Front this afternoon before the temperatures start to climb tomorrow. A dry weekend with temperatures in the 40s up to the 50s by early next week. 36 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Any hour services can help you make sure your furnace keeps you warm this winter. Whether you need a tune-up or repair or a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
Did you know your baby might need their first dental visit sooner than you think? Did you know your baby should visit the dentist after their first tooth appears or by their first birthday? Keep your family healthy. Your smile matters. Babies can get cavities as soon as they have teeth. Bad bacteria can be transferred to a baby's mouth through unwashed spoons or pacifiers. Pacifiers dipped in sugar or sweetened drinks can also cause cavities. Prevention begins by using a small, soft toothbrush and a little fluoride toothpaste. Grain of rice size ages 1 to 2 and a pea size ages 3 to 6. Practice with your baby before their first dental exam. A dental professional can give you the best advice to keep your baby healthy and smiling. If you don't have a dentist, visit yoursmileutah.org for more information on community dental services. This message brought to you by Utah Oral Health Coalition, Utah Dental Association, University of Utah School of Dentistry, the Utah Department of Health and Human Services, and other Utah health partners. Remember, a healthy smile means a healthier life.
Your smile matters.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
President Trump not too happy with a decision from the Supreme Court today that struck down the sweeping tariffs imposed by the president last year. By a vote of 6-3, the justices ruled that President Trump's use of a National Emergencies Act to impose flat tariffs was unconstitutional. Thanks for tuning in to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. We'll get more details on what was actually in that ruling in just a few minutes, but first, let's begin with the president's response. A short time ago, he held a news conference in which he told the American people he was absolutely ashamed of the Supreme Court justices who ruled against him.
The Supreme Court's ruling on tariffs is deeply disappointing, and I'm ashamed of certain members of the court, absolutely ashamed, for not having the courage to do what's right for our country. I'd like to thank and congratulate Justices Thomas, Alito, and Kavanaugh for their strength and wisdom and love of our country, which is right now very proud of those justices. When you read the dissenting opinions, there's no way that anyone can argue against them. There's no way. Foreign countries that have been ripping us off for years are ecstatic. They're so happy. And they're dancing in the streets, but they won't be dancing for long, that I can assure you.
The president went on to say that he would sign several orders to restore tariffs under a variety of other authorities, including a set of trade powers known as Section 122. He said he would use that section to impose an across-the-board global 10% tariff. He also accused the highest court in the country of being swayed by foreign interests.
Because I understand the court. I understand how they are very easily swayed. I want to be a good boy. I have very effectively utilized tariffs over the past year to make America great again. Our stock market has just recently broken 50,000 on the Dow, and simultaneously, and even more amazingly, broken 7,000 on the S&P, two numbers that everybody thought upon our landslide election victory could not be attained. Think of that. Nobody thought it was possible to do it within 4 years, and we did it in 1 year.
In the end, the president said that he still has many questions after the court's ruling, so he would take the matter back to the court. Following the Supreme Court's decision, Senator John Curtis issued a statement in which he said that the ruling affirms the founders' system of checks and balances remains strong nearly 250 years later. He also said that looking ahead, it's critical that the government provide the clarity and predictability that businesses need. So what exactly did the court say in their ruling today? Let's go in depth on this part of the conversation with Kelsey Dallas. She is the managing editor of SCOTUS blog. Kelsey, thanks so much for being with me.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so walk us through what the justices said in this majority opinion.
The court did us all a favor by summarizing it really clearly on the homepage of their website. The court's website says the International Emergency Economic Powers Act does not authorize the president to impose tariffs. Now, that might sound simple, but the ruling we received this morning is quite complicated. My colleague Amy Howe described it as splintered because basically you have Chief Justice John Roberts writing for the court, essentially a group of 6 justices, saying we don't believe President Donald Trump had the authority to impose these tariffs. The tariffs have been struck down, but all the justices in that majority then splinter off to argue amongst themselves about why exactly he did not have that authority. So some of the opinion looks at the actual text of that act that's often referred to as IEPA and says because the act doesn't specifically talk about tariff authority, it must not give the president that power. Other parts of the opinion reflect on what's called the major questions doctrine and whether Congress has to specifically, like line by line, explain that they're handing something to the president in order for the president to say, yes, I can do this. And so it was very interesting that there were all these splinters within the majority and then a very angry group of 3 justices in the minority having their own dissents and saying that they don't agree with this overall holding.
Okay, and what were their reasons for dissenting?
Well, Justice Brett Kavanaugh wrote what we would call the main dissent. It was joined by both Justices Thomas and Alito. And Kavanaugh was saying that he, on the one hand, doesn't agree with the interpretation that the IEPA doesn't give President Donald Trump the power to impose tariffs. But Kavanaugh is also saying that this ruling will essentially cause chaos because the Trump administration, as it's already moving to do, will just work to reimpose the same tariffs under other authorities. And so I think Kavanaugh is frustrated by the real world impact of this decision, which is just a brief period of sort of reshuffling all the papers, and then the tariffs are back in place.
So the president said he had a lot of questions about the ruling, including what would happen to the billions of dollars in tariffs already collected by the U.S. Did the court not address that?
Right. And I would say that was a surprise in the decision. There certainly was no sort of like requirement that the majority had to spell out the refund process, but it was a little surprising that there were only passing references to this debate now being open. So the question of refunds will have to go back to the lower court. I believe it's called the Court of International Trade. And that's where that will be debated and determined. And so that really doesn't bring a lot of satisfaction to the businesses and consumers that were waiting for those answers, because as you would observe following the tariff case, these legal battles move quite slowly through the legal system. And so it's not as if the Court of International Trade will have an answer for everyone next week about refunds. It'll take time for that to be adjudicated.
Kelsey, let's talk for a second about the president saying he was ashamed of certain justices. I'm curious to think what you think about his statement.
Well, it is unusual for a president to speak out. I was trying to remember in recent history when a president has sort of gone to the podium to immediately reflect on a ruling and rebut a ruling or express frustration about a ruling. And I think that those types of statements often focus on sort of the disappointment about not being able to move forward with a policy goal and wishing that the court had ruled a different way. And I don't remember that those statements typically focused in on very specific justices to express disappointment or frustration. What stood out to me from President Trump's remarks was his praise for Justice Kavanaugh, who is one of his appointees to the court. I believe calling him a genius at one point because he was so thrilled with how Kavanaugh spelled out his dissent. So I do believe that it is going to be a memorable speech. And in some of the coverage I've been following of it, reporters who have worked on the Supreme Court beat for longer, I think described it as remarkable in the sense that you just would not normally hear a president going line by line through an opinion and sort of justice by justice in expressing frustration.
I just have a few seconds left, but the president also said, this was curious, that he didn't think some of the justices in the majority were serious, but they're serious, right?
Yes. This has the same authority as any Supreme Court ruling, and so it is their interpretation of the law.
Kelsey, I appreciate your help. Thanks so much for being with me. Kelsey Dallas is the managing editor at SCOTUS blog. In just 60 seconds, I'll chat with an economist to get his perspective on how the court's decision and the president's response could affect global markets and the price of goods. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Markets have been responding positively after the Supreme Court's decision came out today. Right now, the Dow is up by more than 200 points, sitting at 49,600. S&P up by 45. The NASDAQ up by 197 points. Now, obviously, the markets are in a reactionary state right now, but what about the long term? How could the decision affect the overall economy? I spoke to Assistant Professor of Finance at the Marriott School of Business at BYU, Jason Cotter, and I asked him what the Supreme Court's decision will mean for the tariffs.
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think a lot is left to be decided, to be honest. I think the biggest question, sort of from a consumer point of view, is all of the money that was raised from this tariff being imposed. Will that money be refunded? Will it be kept by the Treasury Department? And really, the Supreme Court was pretty silent about that today, but it's entirely possible that that money will be refunded back to the companies at some point in the near future.
Okay, but overall, don't we end up paying as consumers that price? And then there's probably not a chance we'd get any money back.
Yeah, I mean, the economic evidence does suggest that most of the increase in prices from tariffs does end up being paid by consumers, but sort of the legal obligation to pay the tariff falls on the importer, which is generally the business. And so I'd find it pretty surprising if the tariff refunds, if they happen, if that ends up in the pockets of consumers. I think more likely is the refunds will go to the companies, and then the companies will have that extra cash to do whatever they choose to do with it.
Mm-hmm. Professor, is there any indication how much money was actually paid in tariffs and in what areas actually paid the most?
Oh, that's a great question. I actually don't know that off the top of my head. There's been a lot of work to try and figure that out, but it has been a little bit murky exactly where the tariff revenue has fallen.
What do you anticipate could happen with the global markets as a result of this?
Well, I think if the new situation were permanent and tariffs remained lower, I think that would actually be good for global economic growth. So the countries that we have traditionally imported a lot from, so think Southeast Asia, for example, that would be great for their economies because they'd be able to sell more stuff to us. But I think in the near term, I wouldn't expect to see much impact because there's still a lot of volatility. I fully expect that the administration will seek to impose tariffs through other legal authorities. And so kind of in this intervening time, I think markets will mostly be in kind of a wait and see to see whether or not we actually end up with this new environment without tariffs, or if we end up in an environment where tariffs are imposed through some other means.
Yeah, in fact, the president is saying that he has other options. Not really clear what those other options are, but saying, that he has other options to impose these types of tariffs.
Yeah, there are other legal authorities that the president can try to impose tariffs through. I think those are also likely to end up in the courts eventually because it is not clear that that executive authority exists. But I certainly expect the administration will attempt to pursue tariffs through other means.
Mm-hmm. So you talked about right now you don't expect us to see any lowering of prices as a result of what's happening here, just due to the unstable nature of what's occurring. But do prices usually go back down? I mean, I feel like as a consumer, like if a restaurant raises their prices, I don't often see them lower the prices because they already have a set menu and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it is really, really unlikely that we would see prices fall. Maybe for specific products from some companies, maybe. But overall, I'd be very surprised to see prices fall. What is more likely is that if tariffs, stayed low, that the impact of further price increases will be muted. So I was just looking this morning at the Yale Budget Lab, which is a nonpartisan organization that attempts to predict the impact of tariffs and taxes of all kinds. And their prediction was that if the tariffs stay now at this new lower level, that the increase in prices over time will be quite a bit lower than it would have been before the Supreme Court decision. But the prices are still going to stay higher than they were before all of these tariffs ever went into place.
All right. Anything else we need to add? Anything else important for consumers to know?
Well, I think from the consumer standpoint, it's a lot of just wait and see right now. It is a pretty volatile time where we don't really understand what's going to happen with tariffs or exactly how businesses are going to respond to that. So I think that means for the typical consumer, it's just be a little bit cautious as we wait and see for how the economy will react.
That is BYU Assistant Professor of Finance, Jason Cotter. There's still a lot of questions right now, so we'll continue to track it all here at KSL, the markets, the president's response, and how these decisions will affect businesses and consumers here in Utah. Updates on air and online at kslnewsradio.com. Still to come on Midday, students at Murray High School will be on remote learning all next week following a fire on the campus this morning. But first, it's traffic brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposit gets you $300. Love where you bank, Ricky.
We are seeing a nice drive in both directions of I-15 between Ogden and Provo. Clear on the rest of your Valley freeways. Salt Lake City PD wrapping up a crash at 3rd South and 4th East. While you're planning your day, plan for comfort too with the Good Feet store. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
If you've ever set New Year's resolutions before, you know how difficult it is to follow through because you have to wait to see the results. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and in honor of your New Year, New You resolutions, Any Hour Services is having our New Year, New System sale. From now until the end of February, Any Hour Services will give you $2,026 off a new furnace and air conditioner. And you don't have to wait to save the money. You get $2,026 off at the time of purchase. The only thing you have to do to qualify for our New Year, New System sale is call Any Hour Services and schedule a free estimate. When you call, there's no obligation to buy. Just schedule a time to meet that works best for you. Let me say that again. From now until the end of February, when you have Any Hour Services install a new furnace and air conditioner, we'll give you $2,026 off. Call Any Hour Services right now and schedule a free estimate. 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Some of the most meaningful jewelry you own isn't new. It's inherited. A ring from a grandmother. A necklace tucked away in a drawer. Pieces full of memories, but no longer your style. Duke's Jeweler specializes in reimagining family heirlooms into custom pieces you'll actually wear and love. Duke's on-site jewelers and designers work with you one-on-one to honor the original story while creating something fresh, modern, and uniquely yours. From resetting diamonds into new engagement rings to transforming multiple heirloom pieces into one stunning design, every project is crafted with care, precision, and intention. Don't let meaningful jewelry sit unused. Let it live on beautifully. Visit Duke's Jewelers on Main Street in Springville or online at dukesjewelers.com. Duke's Jewelers, where old stories become new treasures. DukesJewelers.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ENJOY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, today through Sunday. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, today through Sunday. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Deep, deep discounts. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Today, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
You were listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Philadelphia's Independence Hall has reopened after 4 months of renovations. It was the place where 250 years ago the Declaration of Independence and Constitution were signed. ABC's Jay O'Brien got a sneak peek at the new old look inside the birthplace of America with the hall's chief curator.
It's real. This is not imaginary, and the things that happened here and the people who worked here and who lived around here were real.
History is human, she reminds us. And preserving this building is an effort to safeguard who we are and where we came from. Those who put it all on the line right here for the mere idea that government could be of, by, and for the people.
Their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And when you come into this space and you remember that that's how they felt and that's what they thought about, this space just vibrates.
Think about it's 1776. It's packed in here. And out of that very human process, real people in this room, the foundational principle of this country is born. That's something else. That's really cool. That's really cool.
It was here Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, and 53 others agreed on our values of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. A radical idea from a country that at the time still had the institution of slavery and denied basic rights of citizenship to all who weren't white landowning men. It's a history we're still grappling with. In late January, the National Park Service removed an outdoor exhibit near Independence Hall telling the stories of 9 enslaved people held by George Washington at the site of his presidential home. But the ideas that began between these walls, the promise of the Declaration and the people's government formed by the Constitution, set in motion our constant desire to seek a more perfect union.
Independence Hall isn't just about the famous people. It isn't just about the people who fought the wars and the people who wrote the special documents and the people who made laws. It's about all of us. And what a place like Independence Hall and a document like the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution mean to all of us.
And the hall reopening as we get set to celebrate the country's 250th birthday.
Honestly, it's surreal. You can be a part of history.
Quadir Fusaro is one of the restoration professionals helping bring the building back to its 18th century glory.
I've did windows, we did.
Born and raised in Philadelphia, now part of a National Park Service program training skilled tradespeople.
As a kid from Philly, did you ever expect that you'd get the chance to be this up close and personal to something that is so central to American history?
No, I didn't, honestly. That you get to feel and be a part of history and, honestly, help history move forward.
The building has had a facelift both outside and in. Decades of dirt cleaned, new carpentry, plaster, and paint.
Bracketed wood moldings.
Tim Henderson is one of the people in charge.
These surfaces that are at hand level, our human touch leaves a tremendous amount of oil and grease and fats on the surface. We have to clean the surface so that we can get good adhesion with our primer and paint. And that's removing many, many decades of dirt.
When we left, it was still a job site. This is what the room where the Declaration of Independence and Constitution were born looks like now. Not a time capsule, not frozen in place, but reverberating, reminding us that history isn't just parchment and paintings. It's something you can reach out and feel and keep alive.
And that is ABC's Jay O'Brien there. My sister lives back east, but it was closed when I was back there right after Christmas this year. So I think it's my next stop. Next time I pay a visit to my sister, I need to see it for sure. It's 1:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour: students at Murray High School on a remote learning schedule next week after a fire broke out in the school. ALS back in the news today following the death of actor Eric Dane. More on the disease and the support available coming up shortly. And KSL traffic, Ricky.
I am seeing some unusual delays northbound on I-15 near Willard Bay. Maria?
Thank you, Ricky. And the forecast saying still some scattered showers out there this afternoon, but we're headed for a dry weekend. It's 1:30.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Chuck Severson. President Trump with sharp criticism of the 6 Supreme Court justices who struck down most of his tariffs. The court saying Congress has to approve all taxes. The president on the 2 justices he picked for the court, Gorsuch and Barrett, who voted against him.
I think it's an embarrassment to their families. You want to know the truth? The 2 of them.
Despite the court ruling,
today I will sign an order to impose a 10% global tariff under Section 122 over and above our normal tariffs already being charged.
And?
I don't need to. It's already been approved. I would ask Congress and probably get it.
2 plaintiffs in the case are pleased. The head of an Illinois family toy maker, Rick Waldenberg, of Learning Resources, says we're a little guy and we defeated the U.S. government. The owner of a small wine importing business in New York, Victor Schwartz, says of the Supreme Court ruling, it's like winning a gold medal. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story: lawmakers are looking to change Utah's laws about checking IDs before selling alcohol again. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla has more.
Just last year, the legislature passed a bill requiring bartenders, servers, and security guards to ID everyone going into a 21-plus establishment. But after a lot of complaints and issues, bill sponsor Representative Steve Eliason is looking to change it back to the way it was. Eliason proposed that bill last year, but says it became something he didn't love. So now he's proposing a bill to reverse it and bring the ID law back to the way it was.
The bill also has another factor. It would allow bartenders and security guards at 21-plus establishments to hold a fake ID and wait for police up to 30 minutes. If they don't arrive in that allotted time, they can then give that ID back. Other local stories KSL is following. The Salt Lake City Library is encouraging the public to grow their own food, which they can do at the library itself. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis reports.
Growing your own food is about more than just eating. It can help build resilience, develop sustainability, and support community. At Salt Lake City Library, they want to support that, offering community garden plots to the public. Garden associate Ricky Longino says this is about more than just feeding yourself.
And I think there's something about visually seeing how those plants grow and how happy they are and how happy it can make you to work in a garden and to give your labor to the land, that it's just so much more rewarding to eat the food, and of course that you want to do that in community.
The plots are 4 feet by 8 feet, and if you don't have seeds, the library has a seed library open to the public. Applications close on Sunday. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by nearly 200 points, nearly 0.5%, sitting at 49,593. S&P up by 40, the NASDAQ up by 165 points. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Up to $500 for loan transfers. Love where you bank. Here's Ricky Meese.
On northbound I-15, up north, way up north, Box Elder County, we have delays setting in by Willard Bay. A KSL listener texting in, several cars crashed. It's between the Willard exit at exit 352 up to about 850 north, going northbound on I-15, and we are starting to see solid delays building. Be prepared to come to a stop in Salt Lake County. A pretty quiet drive on all your Valley freeways at this time. At UTA, they move your early mornings, your long days, your big plans. They move purpose. They move you. Plan your trip at rideuta.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Headed into a nice dry weekend with high temperatures in the mid-40s to the upper 40s on Sunday. Then by Monday, up into the mid-50s. Right now, 36 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Trying to make sense of the markets? Looking to diversify out of all the craziness? Thinking about tangible assets like precious metals? Listen to The Gold Show with Kenny Michaels right here on KSL at 3 p.m. Sunday afternoons. Stay up to date on retirement trends, how the IRA rollover process works, and why investors are turning to physical gold. Kenny is a national talk show host with decades of experience in the markets. Tune in for Kenny's Insights and The Gold Show this Sunday afternoon at 3.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZzzQuil Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZzzQuil Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday. Let's do this, Monday. ZzzQuil Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Murray High School students will be attending classes remotely for the next week after a fire broke out in their school early this morning. Everyone was forced to evacuate the building when smoke started coming out of the ventilation system. Murray City Fire Chief Joseph Middleman says the fire broke out in the dust collecting system, which is located adjacent to the woodshop room.
Dust collectors get cleaned out often. It all depends upon the use of the dust collection system is how that works. There's not a code necessarily that specifically requires it, like your fire sprinkler system is checked once a year, your dust collection system is cleaned out and it's maintained.
Chief Middleman says smoke was spreading through the building when they got there around 9, but he says the students were already all outside.
They did remarkable. They had them out within a few minutes and all gathered, and they were accounting for them and making sure that our kids are safe, and that's the most important part.
District Superintendent Jennifer Covington says the principal let her know about the small fire.
There was a small fire, what was reported in the woodshop area, and that the school was being evacuated. It was during a passing period. The alarms did go off, and so students evacuated. We practice, we drill for these types of things, and so with the assistance of the faculty and staff of Murray High School, they did get everyone out of the building.
She says, thankfully, no one was hurt, and it only took a few minutes for the teachers and staff to get all the kids outside onto the football field.
We just want our parents and our families and our communities to know that our students and the student safety and the safety of everyone in our buildings is of utmost importance. We appreciate that we have drills and that we practice and that we go through, because we really want to make sure that when something actually happens, we're prepared. It doesn't always go as we wish it would, but we do the best that we can, and we're really grateful for our community partners, for our parents, for our students, for evacuating the building and making sure that everyone was safe in the situation.
The district releasing a statement this afternoon saying that given the cleanup required because of the smoke and the water impact, classes will be taught remotely through next week. Students who left behind backpacks, cell phones, or other personal items can pick them up in the band room until 3:30 today, and they'll also be available in the band room on Monday from 8 to 10 a.m. A woman arrested at the Salt Lake Airport in October has been deported with an active appeal pending. Marta Leyva was sent to her home country of El Salvador after being detained since late last year, but her immigration attorney, Adam Craig, says that the arrest doesn't make a lot of sense because of the active appeal.
That's why in the past, people, they may not have agreed with what we were doing, right? And why are you appealing this? Why are you making us go through this effort? But they understood that from an economic and from a monetary resources perspective, you don't do stuff like removing someone from the country when if you lose, you have to let them back in, and it just makes zero economic sense.
Craig says he's frustrated over the increasing number of cases he's seen similar to this one.
Right now, we have another client that was in New Mexico that we have a petition for habeas corpus pending, and they just removed him to Mexico. With a federal case pending, they removed him to Mexico. And there was an order saying, do not move. Or if you do move, give the court immediate notice. No notice was ever given. And there was an article that came out the other day that I think we're up to now over 4,000 violations of court orders in the immigration arena.
Craig says that Leyva's deportation was ordered after she missed a court hearing that she was never told about.
She had an order of removal in absentia, which means we filed a motion to reopen that order of deportation for failing to go to the immigration court when she had her court date. So what happened is we filed our motion to reopen with the immigration judge locally. The immigration judge, he decided that he was not going to reopen the case based on his own reasoning. We contested that reasoning, filed an appeal for failure to reopen the case. And while that was going on, they removed her. Well, they sent her to Louisiana, just horrific conditions in Louisiana.
Leyva was seeking asylum and had a work permit, and Craig says she thought she was doing things the right way. Her story came to light last year when cell phone video captured her dramatic ICE detainment at Salt Lake International Airport. In just 60 seconds, we'll go in depth on the neurodegenerative disease known as ALS. Stay with us.
Are you looking to upgrade your home this year? Advanced Window Products is your local window and door manufacturer that sells direct to the public.
That's right, celebrating 40 years serving Utah since 1986. And right now, it's the New Year, New Window sale. Get $2,500 off when you buy 10 windows or more.
Our windows are made right here in Salt Lake City. Sales and installation are all in-house, meaning no middleman markups. You get the most affordable, high-quality custom windows in the state.
We build it, we install it, and we guarantee it for life.
Every window comes with a lifetime warranty, labor, glass, and parts included, serviced by our local team, and the warranty is transferable to the next homeowner.
Financing is available too. Save now, pay later, with payments as low as $150 a month.
Buy local and support the local economy. Don't wait. Buy 10 windows or more and get $2,500 off. Beat the rush and call today.
Call us at 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100. Or visit us at advancedwindows.com.
We learned in the past 24 hours that Grey's Anatomy and Euphoria actor Eric Dane has died following a battle with ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. Dane was only 53 years old. In June 2025, he opened up to ABC News' Diane Sawyer about his battle with ALS.
I'm fighting as much as I can. There's so much about it that's out of my control.
The disorder affects each person differently, and he talked about what he was experiencing.
My dominant side
is your right side?
Yeah, my left side is functioning. My right side is completely stopped working.
For more information on ALS, I reached out to Dr. Mark Bromberg, who is the former director of the ALS clinic at U of U Health.
ALS is a neurodegenerative disorder, which means a certain set of nerves or neurons in the brain and spinal cord undergo degeneration and death. The nerves that are involved are used normally to control voluntary movements. So every movement your muscles do for you use these nerves. When the nerves degenerate and die, then people become weak. And unfortunately, it eventually involves the nerves that go to the diaphragm for breathing, and people pass away from respiratory insufficiency.
Is this a genetic disease, or is there information available on what the cause is?
Well, there's several answers to the question. First, overall, we do not know what causes it. The second is, in the last 30 years, we're beginning to understand that there is a genetic component that varies from person to person or family to family. 5% of people who have ALS will tell you that there are other people earlier in their family who have had it. So we know that it is genetic in at least 5%. We're finding more and more genes, and so genes are likely a risk factor. But if they're a risk factor, then there are other aspects that influence the risk. So it's becoming quite complicated, but a few patients do have a clear genetic cause.
All right. In the case of this popular actor, he was diagnosed and then he died very quickly within a year. Is that usually what happens?
Well, that's interesting. I read the same thing. In the brief report that I read, it said that he announced it to the public within a year. What I couldn't find is whether or when his first symptom began. But to answer your question, if you time it from the first symptom, there's a median survival, which means that the time at which 50% of people will have passed away from symptom onset. And that's 2 to 3 years. So he is on the slightly early side if it's a year, but if the symptoms began well before that, then he would be more average.
So if there's no cure at this point in time, what is the treatment?
Well, we are working, we meaning people in laboratories actually throughout the world are focusing and have focused many, many efforts. So there are, for one form of the genetic kind of ALS, there is a specific treatment that seems to be fairly effective. It's only been available for a couple of years, and for this particular mutation, it only affects 1% or 2% of people with ALS. But there are 2 other drugs that are approved by the Food and Drug Administration for ALS, and in formal drug trials, they do show a difference between patients taking the drug and taking a placebo. While the difference is statistically significant, it's not sufficient in magnitude for the patient to appreciate it. So we do have a few drugs. Now, the mainstay of treatment is seeing patients in multidisciplinary clinics, and we have such an ALS clinic here in the Department of Neurology at the University of Utah. And the multidiscipline means that we try to address issues no matter where they begin, if it's with speech, with this arm weakness, leg weakness. And there are 2 interventions. If someone has difficulty with swallowing, we can recommend a gastric feeding tube. And early on, when people have difficulty with respiratory insufficiency, we can give them non-invasive ventilation, kind of a modified version of a CPAP called a BiPAP. No 2 patients are exactly the same with this. It starts regionally. Someone told me it started for this gentleman with his speech. Some people it starts with the hands and arms. Some people it starts with the legs. But it does progress to eventually involve all those areas.
Dr. Mark Bromberg is the former director of the ALS clinic at U of U Health. In just a few minutes, we'll find out more about ALS and how we can all support patients and their families as they fight this disease. But first, it's traffic on KSL News Radio. It's brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.44% on savings at uccu.com. Ricky, what's going on?
This is going to be near Willard Bay. We have a crash. Looks like multiple vehicles involved, and I think UHP has made it to the scene. They're over to the left shoulder, but I think they're blocking a left lane. I'm seeing traffic swing over to the right lane in order to get around it. It's northbound, I-15 near Willard Bay. It's going to be a few miles after exit 352, but you are going to see traffic just stacked up and backed up and just at a crawl for a few miles into the South Willard area. Common Spirit hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advanced healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with Human Kindness is here. Hello, Human Kindness. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
I was in foot pain for 20 years, trying to give it relief, buying all these different insoles. Drugstore insoles, custom insoles. I spent thousands of dollars. I bought all these products, and not a single one worked. I really, truly needed to have relief in my feet. And the Good Feet arch supports were what gave me the relief I needed.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people like Teresa actually live the life they love without their feet getting in the way.
They wanted to make sure that I got something that my feet felt good in, not somebody else's feet. I love the fact that I can wear these arch supports in all my shoes. I have boots, I have cowboy boots, I have running shoes, I have walking shoes, I have flat shoes, I have heels. It makes me so happy. If you ask my husband, he will crack up because there is no store I would rather go in than a shoe store. I'm Teresa, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
Sign up for KSL Text Alerts. Get breaking news and traffic updates by texting the word news to 57500. Want access to exclusive contests? Text contest to 57500. Jazz fans, text the word jazz for breaking jazz updates. And Cougar fans, text BYU to 57500 for the latest on the Cougars. Message and data rates may apply.
Since 1947, Whipple Service Champions has been Utah's most trusted name for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical services. Got a high-priced repair bill from another company and you're just not sure about it? Call Whipple. Get a free, no-pressure estimate or bring us their quote for an honest second opinion. Totally free. Whipple Service Champions, Utah's first place for second opinions since 1947. Call 385-273-7167 for your free estimate today. 385-273-7167.
Are your investments in the right accounts? What's best, traditional or Roth? Are you receiving all available tax deductions? Are you paying as little in tax as you can? These are all questions you can't afford to get wrong. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth, and in many cases, it's not what you make, but it's what you keep that makes the real difference. Trajan Wealth and Trajan Tax work closely together exclusively. No more guessing about whether you should do a Roth conversion, or if maxing out your 401k is really the best option. Our nationally recognized fiduciary advisors and CPA team work in tandem to make sure your tax strategy works with your investment strategy. We'll even do your tax preparation. One team, one strategy. Isn't it time for a second opinion? Call Trajan today, 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ENJOY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, today through Sunday. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, today through Sunday. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Deep, deep discounts. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Today, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. We are continuing our deep dive into ALS, a neurodegenerative disease that affects nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord. Actor Eric Dane passing away from the disease, his death announced last night. Brian Federick is the Marketing and Communications Officer for the ALS Association, and I asked him how all the attention generated from high-profile cases improves awareness of the fatal disorder.
People know ALS, they just don't really know what it is. It's a rare disease. It only affects about 30,000 people at any given time. But over the course of a lifetime, people are about 1 in 300, have a 1 in 300 chance of getting it. But we see at ALS.org, we see, big spikes in traffic from people searching about what ALS is. Obviously, it's a terrible tragedy, and our hearts go out to his family, but it is helping people understand what this disease is.
Is there any hope on the horizon, research being done that you're hopeful will help?
Yeah, so there is one treatment that has been in the pipeline for about 20 years. It was approved about 2 years ago. And it treats a certain genetic form of ALS. And not only are we seeing that it slows a type of ALS, that it actually restores function, which is something we never thought possible. And so this only affects people that have a certain gene, so it's about 2% of the ALS population. This was something the ALS Association invested in about 20 years ago. It was very experimental, but now it's starting to come to fruition. It's called antisense technology. We're hoping we can take that technology and then apply it to other forms of ALS, particularly those 85% of people who don't have a genetic variation. So there is hope, and the federal government, thanks in part to Eric Dane's advocacy, has just earmarked a lot more money towards ALS research. We still have a long way to go. It's going to take billions and billions of dollars to get there, but we do have a plan, and we know how to get there. We just need the resources to get there.
What type of support is available for patients and their families?
So the best thing that people living with ALS can do is attend a multidisciplinary clinic. What that means is a clinic where they can see all sorts of different doctors at once. And so we've seen that when patients go to these multidisciplinary clinics, that their life there's evidence that it will extend their life. So we're really at the ALS Association trying to get people into clinic as much as possible. The more they can be seen, the earlier they can be seen, so the quicker they can be diagnosed, the better their chances of making this a long-term survival are. So really trying to get people diagnosed quickly and get them into clinics so they can start to be treated. That's really the most important thing. But I will say that ALS is just a really devastating disease. It's a huge burden for families and caregivers. In addition to the person living with ALS, it's emotionally, financially, physically devastating. So we have a lot of work to help alleviate the burden on our caregivers and family members who have to help people living with ALS as well.
Brian Federick is the Marketing and Communications Officer for the ALS Association. In the next hour of Midday, students at one Utah school get a cool opportunity to chat live with astronauts aboard the International Space Station. Stay with us for more.
You can't escape a traffic jam. Know what else you can't escape? Seasonal allergies. And you might think you can avoid that coffee stain until... Oh, really? You can't escape a lot of things in life, but you can escape prediabetes. Prediabetes captures 1 in 3 adults. There are usually no signs of prediabetes. In fact, most people don't even know they have it. But with early diagnosis, you can change the outcome and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Take action by taking the 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. You might not be able to escape having this song stuck in your head, but you can escape prediabetes. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org today. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
If you're talking, they will hear you.
Why are we getting killed like this?
Kyle's not here. Got caught drinking beer in the park a couple of nights ago.
Really?
Yeah. 0 tolerance. He's out for the season.
Harsh.
Hey, he knew not to drink. We've made that clear to all of our kids, right?
No, not really.
Bill, if we don't tell them what we expect and why they shouldn't drink, how are they going to know?
Talk. They hear you. For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
You try.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
A proposal on Utah's Capitol Hill to make it easier for high school athletes to transfer schools getting fierce backlash today. In a committee hearing this morning, attendees coming out swinging against the bill.
But a parent just saying, hey, my kid is being bullied, but he's 6'5", 230 pounds, and he can run like a deer, but he's been being bullied. I don't think it falls within those realms of being able to be eligible for transfer.
The time is 2 o'clock on Friday, February 20th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, Eye on the Hill 2026 will go in depth on the proposal and why everyone who attended the hearing today said it's a terrible idea. But first, KSL's top local stories. Students at Murray High School were forced to evacuate after a fire broke out in school woodshop this morning. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has more from the scene.
Firefighters tell me the fire started in the woodshop sawdust collection system, but they're still trying to figure out what sparked it. Students were actually transitioning between classes when the flames started spreading, but officials say it only took a few minutes for staff members to get all 1,300 plus kids outside. In fact, firefighters say everyone was already outside when they got here. Nobody was hurt, though the extent of the damage to the woodshop is still to be determined.
School officials are planning for students to learn remotely all next week while crews clean up the aftermath. Firefighters say it could take a few weeks to determine the cause of the fire. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Inside the briefing room, President Trump reacting to the 6-3 Supreme Court decision that shoots down many of his presidential tariffs, calling it disappointing, deeply disappointing, and he announced a new global tariff.
On the one hand, you have the Supreme Court striking down about 70% of the president's tariffs, and the expectation had been that that money would be refunded, though the president said that's something that's going to take years to play out in court. But in the same beat now, you have the president announcing this new 10% tariff on global imports. And one analyst I was just texting with back and forth said that the money from that section that he's invoked, Section 122, which has never been invoked by a president before, that money could replace a lot of the money that was going to be basically have to be refunded from those Supreme Court tariffs that were just struck down.
ABC's Elizabeth Schulze reporting. Taking a look at your money at this moment at the close, the Dow up by 230 points, sitting at 49,625. S&P up by 47. The NASDAQ up nearly a full percent, up 203 points. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposit gets you $300. Love where you bank. Ricky Meese.
We still have emergency traffic for drivers trying to get through Box Elder County. We have two crashes. They're both in the same spot of I-15 by Willard Bay, one on the northbound side, one on the southbound side. They have each been blocking traffic lanes at times, and right now we're seeing heavy delays in both directions. The worst of the delays now are on the southbound side of I-15, and there's probably about 1.5 miles to 2 miles of solid backups. Northbound, some of those delays are starting to improve a little, but you're still not out of the woods. Expect some residual delays in the area. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Still a 50% chance of scattered showers across the Wasatch Front this afternoon into this evening, but then a dry weekend. Tomorrow's high 44 up to 54 degrees by Monday. 37 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
This weekly tax tip is brought to you by the Utah Association of Certified Public Accountants. Here's CEO Susan Spears.
If you're 65 years or older, there's a new tax break heading your way for the 2026 filing season. It's called the Senior Bonus Deduction. Seniors will get an extra $6,000 deduction on top of the standard deduction. If you're married and you're both 65 plus, that's a $12,000 bonus off your taxable income. So let's do the math. A single senior gets to take the standard deduction of $15,750, the existing age bump of $2,000, and the new senior bonus of $6,000. That's almost $24,000 of income the IRS cannot touch. However, there are income phase-outs.
Get the most out of your income tax preparation when you hire a licensed CPA. Visit uacpa.org to find a CPA that's right for you. And check out new tax tip videos by following on social media at Talk to Your CPA.
Amanda, I've been taught to begin with the end in mind. And when it comes to something like weight loss, that's really, really important because some weight loss plans have no end. It's like another refill or another bill or another year. But soda weight loss has a finish line.
You learn it once, you use it forever. And I'm all about health. I mean, I don't want to have my body become addicted to another drug that I have to take forever in order to be healthy. I want the opposite of that. I want fewer medications. I want my body to learn how to do this on its own and be strong.
For so many weight loss drugs, you have to just take them forever in order to maintain that feeling when you cross the finish line. Yeah. When I hit 70 pounds that I let go of in 5 months, what an amazing feeling. And it was amazing to know I could just go forward from this point.
You can talk to a nutritionist and ask all your questions at 866-800-SODA.
Or you can go to sotaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Because at SOTA, join us for a short time to have results that last a lifetime.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos.
Eye on the Hill 2026. Special coverage on KSL News Radio.
High school athletics are serious business for students looking to have a career in sports. But one Utah lawmaker says there's a transfer portal atmosphere in high school sports, and they're trying to close some loopholes. His bill would have redefined the restrictions placed on transfers and stopped high school athletes from getting paid to play. But the pushback against the bill turned out to be too much. Joining me now live in studio is KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson. And Heather, tell us what this bill was proposing.
So, Maria, the bill sponsored by Representative John Hawkins would have done a couple different rule changes for high school students looking to transfer, like
if they find that the school's not a fit or for whatever reason, they can then transfer for free basically the first time. If they want to transfer another time, they have to sit out at the varsity level from participating in varsity level sports for a year.
There are some exceptions to that rule, though, like if the student genuinely moves within the boundary lines of another school, or if there's documentation of bullying. One of the other things this bill would have done is prevent players from being paid to play. Representative Colin Jack was actually surprised to hear this is going on.
What, getting paid to play high school sports and transferring schools to play high school sports? That's a thing?
That is a thing.
Well,
Yes,
don't you just go to the high school you live in and you play sports there and you pay to play? I mean,
you pay them to play, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is a thing that's happening. Yeah.
Well, I don't like that. I vote we don't do that. That's stupid.
And that is the purpose of this bill, Representative.
However, Hawkins says it would allow for students to have sponsorships.
Now, if Crumble says, I want you in an advertisement for me, then that's fine. They're not being paid to play. They're being paid to peddle cookies, right? So
this would have made it similar to how college athletes get paid by their name, image, and likeness, or NIL.
Okay, so what problems did people have with the proposal?
One of the biggest points we heard of contention was the ability to transfer without losing playtime if you've been bullied. This would have changed the rule from requiring the school to investigate and document the bullying to requiring simply the parent to submit evidence. Brody Benson, who's been a coach in the state for 25 years, says this would open the floodgates for parents to make up reasons to transfer their kids to schools with better teams.
If a kid is being bullied, I think that is definitely a reason for a kid to be able to transfer. But a parent just saying, hey, my kid is being bullied, but he's 6'5", 230 pounds, and he can run like a deer, but he's been being bullied. I don't think it falls within those realms of being able to be eligible for transfer.
And this commenter argued it would make it too easy to go to schools based on their athletic opportunities instead of their location, which ruins communities.
I completely disagree with this bill. If I were to sit down and craft a bill that would destroy communities, deprioritize education, this is a bill that I would come up with.
Others argued the point that student athletes getting paid for sponsorships is the same as getting paid to play, just by another name. But it was a huge turnout today at today's committee hearing. The committee's chair couldn't find a member of the public at all that was for the bill during public comment.
Is there anybody here to speak in favor of this bill?
Okay, so what happened?
The committee discussed it for a bit, and then they moved to table the bill. Representative Doug Fiafia said this is an important issue worthy of their attention.
I think this is an important conversation to have. Do I think the bill is perfect right now? No. But I think it starts a conversation of how do we make it fair and equitable for every student athlete, not just the kids that have the money and not just the schools that have the money, but everyone. And I think this is worth having the conversation, and I think there's still time to adjust the bill to make sure that all the stakeholders here are able to have their say and to figure that out.
But ultimately, the amount of public comments convinced the committee that this bill in its current form is not ready and it's not helpful. They voted to table the bill, which, as one lawmaker pointed out, is likely a death sentence with so little time left in the session this year.
All right. Thanks, Heather. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson joining me in studio. We're going to take a quick 60-second break and get more on this story. Stay with us.
The Management Minute is a service of the MBA program and the Shingo Institute at Utah State University. I'm Professor Scott Hammond. The world is flat and getting flatter. Not the planet, organizations on the planet. Almost every military strategist who's not beholden to a dictator will tell you that the reason Ukraine has been able to hold off the much bigger Russian army is because Russia has too many generals. Ukraine pushed decision-making and innovation down, allowing field commanders to make decisions close to the combat. Recently, Amazon announced that they will be cutting thousands of jobs, mostly due to cost-cutting AI innovations, part of a corporate strategy to become much flatter, to eliminate layers. Even government is making a forced march to becoming leaner, focused on purpose and adding more value. For all of us, it means that we constantly have to ask how we are adding value to an enterprise. Learn more about continuous improvement in an MBA from Utah State University. Go to utahstatemba.com. That's utahstatemba.com. I'm Scott Hammond. Hope to see you in one of our classes.
Eye on the Hill 2026, we are continuing to track and discuss a bill on Utah's Capitol Hill that would make it easier for high school athletes to transfer schools, even mid-season. We spoke earlier this week about this bill with Amy Donaldson. She's an executive producer and sports reporter for KSL Podcast. She joins me again on Midday to chat more about the developments on the bill from this morning's hearing. So, Amy, you were at the hearing. Tell us what you learned.
Well, they actually dropped a substitute right before the hearing started, and the substitute actually limited the transfers a bit. It went with what the state law is now in the current UHSA rules, which is on your first entry, when you first go to high school, you can go anywhere you want. If the school will take you, you can go. It doesn't have to be your neighborhood school. But then it gave people one transfer, and I think then the other thing it did was that was significant was it changed the bullying rules. Right now, you have to report it to your school. If you don't like what your school decides in the investigation, you can go to the association and ask for a hearing. And he just, in making it, a state law, was making a remedy where parents could certify or present evidence of bullying. So it's a little bit gray with that one. And then the other thing he did was he added a line that said, no student can make money off their name, image, or likeness. So clearly trying to get ahead of the issues that are plaguing college sports right now. The issue with just that ban is that has been held. The courts have ruled against that. You can't keep somebody from making money on their name, image, and likeness. But there could be rules around it, right? Like this is all of what college is grappling with. But I think in high school, people are really averse to it. It's already here. Kids are already making money because they're athletes.
So, Amy, for those people who are just first hearing about these bills, describe why transferring from high school to high school has become such a great issue.
Well, I think it really started in the 90s with open enrollment. So before the open enrollment law, which gave parents the choice to choose what school their kids went to. So before that, everybody just went to their neighborhood school, basically. And if you didn't like your neighborhood school, you probably moved, or there might be exceptions here and there. But for the most part, people went to school where they lived. Once open enrollment was passed in the 90s, then kids started transferring and picking their schools. And so the idea was it would make it more competitive, and parents could, if I want an IB program and I live in Taylorsville and Hillcrest has IB, my kid can go to Hillcrest, which is in Midvale. And so that was the idea behind it, but it became this opportunity for athletes to choose their programs. And so UHSA has pretty much spent every moment since then, the 30 plus years since then, my entire time covering them, this is the one consistent issue that plagues every association in every state, because no matter what you change the rules to, there's always somebody trying to get around them or sue over them, or, if there are exceptions, people stretch the exceptions. Bullying is an exception to the transfer rule. And you can do a full family move, so the whole family can move. So people are saying, well, rich people can move and poor people can move, but middle-class people are stuck, So there's just always this idea that the grass is greener somewhere else, and you're not supposed to transfer for athletic reasons. And I will just say the reason for that is pretty clear, that if you can't control player movement, like if you had kids going to school for different, like one school they would go play baseball and another school they'd play football, like it would just be chaos.
By now, most people know that college players make money on their name, image, and likeness. But how prevalent is that? You say that's happening in the high schools. How prevalent is it for high school athletes?
I think because it's not required to disclose, like there are currently no rules. So, and listen, college is behind, they're way behind the curve. I think they would be smart to get ahead of this and say, hey, this is a thing that's happening. We probably can't keep, and the reason that name, image, and likeness became an issue in college sports is because athletes they were prevented from doing things that they should have been allowed to do. Like if you're a kicker, there was a kicker at a college here in Utah who wanted to run a camp and make some money in the summer because he was a college student, didn't have any money, right? Rather than get a job he didn't like, he thought, I could teach kids how to kick footballs. And he was not allowed to advertise himself as a University of Utah kicker. And so, those are the rules that have led to this chaos, because he should have been allowed to do that. That's not a bad thing. The thing that's happening now is people are basically paying kids. They're saying it's they're signing them to contracts basically, and they're saying it's boosters or advertisers. Like one kid signed a $5 million shoe deal with a shoe company. But the question I always have is, you're really paying them to play sports, because you're not giving them that name, image, and likeness deal, that sponsorship deal, if they're math students only. Mm-hmm. You're giving that to them because they're athletes. And so there's this real dilemma in, if we're not going to say what's really happening, which is we're paying people to play sports, then we have a whole lot of issues. Like, they're not employees. They don't have they can't do collective bargaining. Can you impose a salary cap? Can you control? Are the contracts public? There's a lot of issues. Like, I mean, I could list off 20 right now,
Right.
and I don't even know them all.
And you're saying they should get ahead of it, but it sounds like they're way behind already.
Well, so this is happening mostly in college. There are student athletes, our high school kids that I know of, that have like shoe deals, or like a Nike or an Under Armour will say, "Hey, I'll sponsor you." The risk you run of not getting ahead of it is, you could have boosters that say to a 15-year-old kid, "Hey, we want you to play at this other school. We'll give your parents can live in this house rent-free." And that's considered a sponsorship, right? Mm-hmm. Because the rules don't forbid it. So there's your transfer recruiting loophole. But now you have people who have a vested interest, a financial interest in that kid. And there are 100 ways that can go sideways, probably more.
Oh, boy, Amy, it's a fascinating topic, and I know that one that people are very emotional about. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
That's Amy Donaldson, KSL Podcast executive producer and sports reporter. After the break, don't pay attention to the snow outside right now, because we're going to talk about gardening. But first, it's KSL Traffic on KSL News Radio. It's brought to you by UCCU, up to $500 for loan transfers. Love where you bank, Ricky.
A little bit of good news for drivers traveling I-15 through Box Elder County. Northbound delays and the crash by Willard Bay have cleared. The bad news is southbound I-15. The crash has been moved out of those center lanes of traffic over to the right. A right lane is still blocked southbound I-15 at Willard Bay. And even though 2 lanes of traffic are getting by, we have about 2 to 2.5 miles of solid backups. It's still going to take you a while to get through the area. The Good Feet store, supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
My friend Joey loves to use old familiar sayings.
You know what they say.
The problem is,
don't look at a gift horse, because you can't make them drink.
He gets a lot of them mixed up.
People who live in glass houses,
here it comes,
shouldn't cry over spilt milk.
There are also a lot of sayings in the financial world, like, you'll pay lower taxes in retirement. But for many people, it's just not true. You may have done a great job saving in that 401k or IRA, but Uncle Sam is ready to grab a big portion of that money. The team at Galileo Wealth Management can help with strategies that you can start now to lower your tax bill in the future. More for you and less for Uncle Sam.
Or as they say, an apple a day is worth 2 in the bush.
Get the facts on your tax bill in retirement. Call Galileo Wealth today at 385-247-7000. It's 385-247-7000 or online at GalileoWealth.com.
And remember, a stitch in time keeps the doctor away. It does, you know.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-290-7100. That's 800-290-7100.
Every day here in Utah, people turn to KSL News Radio for one simple reason: trust. Trust for our reporters, hosts, our coverage, and trust in the businesses heard right here. I've met so many of our listeners over the years, and they'll tell you KSL is part of their daily routine, in the car, at work, at home. And when they hear your business here, it carries the weight of that trust. It isn't just another ad. It's a recommendation coming from a reliable source. When you advertise on KSL News Radio, you reach a loyal, highly engaged audience who listens intentionally. They show up for breaking news, accurate information, and meaningful conversations. And because of that connection, they respond. And when you pair our on-air credibility with digital tools like display advertising, social media, streaming audio, search, geo-targeting, and retargeting, you get a full funnel strategy that works and reaches the right people at the right time. Get marketing that truly moves the needle. Partner with the voice Utah trusts. KSL. Learn more at kslnewsradio.com/advertise.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Tensions with Iran continue to flare up this afternoon, even as nuclear talks continue between the Middle Eastern country and the U.S. ABC's Louis Martinez has an in-depth look at the discussions.
What we've really seen is a really quick and fast and large increase in the number of U.S. Air Force assets. We've seen an aircraft carrier move into the region, and now we know that a second aircraft carrier is on its way.
Well, in case we don't make a deal, we'll need it. If we don't have a deal, we'll need it. If we have a deal, we could cut it short.
It's taken place really quickly, and officially, the Pentagon hasn't really acknowledged that this is taking place. When you reach out to them for comment, they say, we have no information to provide you. But thanks to what we're seeing from plane spotters and flight trackers, tools of the trade right now, the transponders of the refueling tankers give clues as to how many aircraft are on their way and where they're coming from and where they're headed. And that's actually what we've seen. And so right now, we are aware that there are several dozen aircraft, fighter aircraft, that have made their way to the Middle East, which is a really significant increase over the numbers that are traditionally there. And it really begs the question, what are they going to be used for? Because they bring a lot of firepower and they bring a lot of capability. Some are fighter aircraft that can be picked up by radar, and many of them are not fighter aircraft that can be picked up by radar because they're stealth. And we're seeing a lot of F-35 stealth fighters that are in place in the region right now. And there are F-35 stealth fighters aboard the aircraft carrier that's there in the Middle East right now, and aboard the aircraft carrier that's making its way to the Middle East from the Caribbean.
2 aircraft carriers, more than 100 fighter planes, and now how many people?
5,000 each for aboard the aircraft carrier, plus the several destroyers that always accompany them. In this case, we know that it's going to be about 5,000 additional forces, that there are already 35,000 U.S. military personnel in CENTCOM, that's the U.S. Central Command, and this will bring it to, if not 40,000, probably more. We're not talking ground forces. What we're talking about is the capability from air power. And what you're also seeing is some of the defensive systems that you would need to protect American personnel that are already there, because the concern is that should Israel or possibly the United States launch an attack against Iran, Iran would retaliate with a barrage of missiles that would be targeting U.S. military bases. And so we saw some of that last year when Iran was attacked by the United States and Israel. So if you're going to go on the offensive, you need a good defense in place, and that is part of what we're seeing flowing into the region as well.
ABC's Louis Martinez sharing updates on the nuclear talks going on between the U.S. and Iran. Salt Lake City is making it easier for people to grow their own food, even if they don't have a yard or a garden space of their own. The city is offering community garden plots at the city library. Garden associate and seed librarian Ricky Longino says growing food is about more than just feeding yourself.
The beauty of growing food from your local soils extends so far beyond just the act of feeding yourself. Also just relating to the people that are around you that have kind of like witnessed the food growing alongside you and that you can then share with. And then also even just thinking of the land as part of community, which is kind of a bigger concept, but understanding how like when you put a seed in the ground, that seed is then going to interact with all the soil microbes and all the nutrients that become available and the air and the water, and then it grows up in this community of plants around it. And I think there's something about visually seeing how those plants grow and how like happy they are and how happy it can make you to work in a garden and to like give your labor to the land, that it's just so much more rewarding to eat the food. And of course that you want to do that in community, which is just like a very natural way to eat food. And there's so much kind of isolation and lack of connectedness in our society, in our world, and that it feels like a kind of hearkening back to a time when people did grow more food.
Longino says the library is a good spot for the gardens for a number of reasons.
I think about books as, stories, obviously, but I also think about seeds as stories. And we have a seed library as well. So our main branch has a seed library right on the first floor, and also all of our other branches in the system also have places you can just pick up seeds for free. And I think there's something about these little living record keepers who have all of their ancestral memories and all of their heritage stored like within their little kernels. And when you take a seed and you decide to plant it and it grows into something, it's like telling you its story. And there's this whole archive that it contains that just comes to life in front of your eyes. And if you decide to be a steward of that life, then you can save those seeds and grow them again, share them, and kind of perpetuate life.
The garden plots are 4 feet wide, 8 feet long, and just tall enough that even a person in a wheelchair can work in them. Deputy Director of Sustainability for the city, Sophia Nicholas, says providing spaces to grow food builds a strong food system and gives people choices to access cultural food that they may have grown up with.
Culturally relevant foods can mean that, sometimes, we think of going to the food bank, we think of donating food to the food bank, which is so important to do, right? But sometimes that's not always the type of food that people either can eat or want to eat. So when we're talking about building a strong food system, we want to think about giving people the choice to have access to the type of food appropriate to their dietary needs, as well as food that they enjoy and that they've perhaps grown up with. So this also can just mean culturally appropriate food can mean just learning about traditions of food growing that are diverse. I mean, we have so many diverse people and cultures here in Salt Lake City, and they all have different food growing traditions. So as an example, one of our micro grantees from last year is called the Urban Pepper Project. And they're all about growing some of these peppers from the Americas that we might not really think of as something that you could just go buy at the grocery store.
Applications for the garden plots close this Sunday, February 22nd. It's 2:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. A former Utah State basketball player trying to get freed from an Indonesian prison and make it back to the U.S. Students at a school in northern Utah getting the opportunity to chat one-on-one with astronauts live from space. And KSL traffic, Ricky.
Residual delays southbound I-15 after Perry down to Willard Bay. Maria?
It's looking like a very nice, dry weekend with highs in the 40s. It's 2:30.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. President Trump unleashing a type of sharp personal criticism of the Supreme Court, apparently unique for chief executives, calling the six-justice majority lapdogs for his political opponents and suggesting they're unpatriotic. The ruling says the Constitution is clear that Congress has to approve all taxes. The president saying there are other laws allowing him to impose tariffs.
Today I will sign an order to impose a 10% global tariff under Section 122 over and above our normal tariffs already being charged.
Wall Street major indexes closed higher despite the tariff ruling and after reports showing a slowing economy at the end of last year with a gain of less than 2% and rising inflation. A 2024 reported hazing at the University of Iowa is going viral after body camera footage showed the aftermath of officers encountering dozens of undressed pledges locked in a basement who were shown to be uncooperative. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story, Utah lawmakers are trying to reverse the state's newest law on alcohol sales and IDs.
The legislature passed a bill last year that's only been in place for 2 months that requires bartenders, servers, or security guards to ID everyone that enters a 21-plus establishment. And they've heard a lot of complaints.
If I get one more call from an owner
entrepreneurs saying that they had to turn away a large party because the group brought in their grandfather who was 80 years old and didn't have an ID and wasn't allowed on premise. Oh my gosh.
That's Michelle Corigliano, Executive Director of the Salt Lake Area Restaurant Association. Representative Steve Eliason is now proposing a bill to reverse the new law and only require bars and clubs to ID those who look like they could be under 35 years old. The bill would also allow them to call police if a fake ID is presented and hold it for up to 30 minutes. So far, it's advancing in the House. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
Other local stories KSL is following. Salt Lake City wants people to try and grow their own food, offering community garden plots at the city library. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis has more.
The garden plots are 4 feet wide and 8 feet long, and just tall enough that even a person in a wheelchair can work in them. Garden associate Ricky Longino says growing food is about more than just feeding yourself. It's also about building community and supporting sustainability. City leaders say providing spaces to growing food builds a strong food system and gives people choices to access cultural food they may have grown up with and gives others the opportunity to learn about their traditions.
Applications for the garden plots close on Sunday. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow ending the day up by 230 points, just about 0.5%, sitting at 49,625. S&P up by 47, the NASDAQ up by 203 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposit gets you $300. Love where you bank. Ricky, what's going on?
A right lane still partially blocked southbound I-15 with a crash involving a lot of vehicles by Willard Bay. With traffic slowly getting by, we still have residual delays, not quite to Perry, but traffic is at least starting to move a little bit better through that stretch. So even though it's not clear, at least it's not at a standstill at this time. If you're traveling any of the Salt Lake County freeways or main secondaries, you are good to go at this time. Arrive in style for all of life's events, from the first suit to the first dance, preparing to serve or starting a life together. Every age, every milestone for nearly 60 years, Mr. Mac helping you look your best for all of life's events. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
A dry weekend, Monday dry as well. Looks like a chance of showers comes back on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. But right now, 36 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Gold demand is skyrocketing to record highs. As more Americans rush to preserve their savings, will there be enough gold? I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe physical gold is the only way to truly protect your 401k or IRA savings. Gold offers tangible security that can't be tracked, stolen, or inflated. That's why I strongly advocate for gold IRAs. To learn more, text the word SECURE to 989898 now. Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust, and their thousands of great reviews prove I'm not alone. So don't wait another second. Protect your retirement savings today and see how easy it is to move your IRA or 401k into physical precious metals. Text SECURE to the number 989898 for your free gold IRA info kit. Again, SECURE to 989898.
Message and data rates may apply.
Hi, I'm Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. When the IRS invades your life, it's never good news. Keep in mind, it's not just you.
I owed roughly $34,000.
$61,000. When the IRS first contacted me, I was horrified.
When they start hounding you and harassing you and assaulting you.
Don't face the IRS alone. With everything in your life at stake, don't trust just anyone.
From what I got told was being done in a matter of 2 years, he had done in a matter of like 48 hours.
It's a great thing to have the IRS off your back.
We have reduced our tax liability by over $42,000.
Once I signed on with Jordan, I never talked to the IRS again.
It changed our lives.
You need someone to fight for you. Visit endtaxworry.com and get relief today. Let's solve your tax problems now. Visit endtaxworry.com. That's endtaxworry.com.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. The former Utah State basketball player imprisoned in Indonesia, now seeking help from the U.S. government to bring him home. Former USU Aggie Jared Shaw was arrested in May of last year after receiving a shipment of cannabis gummies to his apartment in Jakarta. He says he needed the gummies to treat symptoms related to Crohn's disease. But marijuana is not legal in Indonesia, and because of their strict drug laws, the initial sentence for Shaw was death. But thanks to efforts of international legal advocate Dante West, Shaw's sentence was reduced to just 26 months in prison.
He was like the first American in history to be transported to a private doctor off-site on death row in the middle of a trial. And when he went to go see this doctor, the test results came back and he had like E. coli and these, very bad infections associated with Crohn's disease. And the doctor recommended him to be hospitalized. And he didn't get a chance to get hospitalized, but it helped change the narrative to the court that he was a user, not a trafficker. And I think that ultimately was a game changer for this case.
Shaw's doctor says if he does not return to the U.S. to be treated for his disease soon, it could result in serious health complications. KSL News Radio's Cameron Elliott spoke to Shaw in a video call placed from the prison. Shaw says that he just wants to return home so that he can get proper medical treatment and see his mother.
I'm just trying to, collect my days and, get out of here as soon as possible. My main thing now is when I saw the doctor, he suggested that I needed surgery and I needed immediate care. So my thing now is just trying to, the 26 months is okay, but, I still have 3 active infections. So my main thing now is trying to get back to America, to Texas, so I can get in front of a doctor and, take care of my health, because at the end of the day, that's what's most important.
Shaw has been living in Indonesia since 2023, playing for the Tonggaran Hawks in the Indonesian Basketball League.
The 2026 Winter Games on Middays with Maria, live from Milan. Brought to you by America First Credit Union.
The Winter Games are almost over. On Sunday, the games will conclude with what's to be a spectacular closing ceremony. In the meantime, the United States still hunts for more gold medals. They moved up a place. Now they are in second place for the total number of medals, 28. 10 of those medals are gold. Norway still leads. In fact, they broke a record today, securing the most gold medals ever won in a single Winter Games. With just a few days left, let's get our final daily check-in of the games with KSL 5 TV's Deanie Wimmer, who joins us live from Milan. Deanie, talk to us about the whole experience. I mean, how has it been covering these games?
Hey, Maria, it's been such a great experience. With the time difference, we're up a little at night. We're up in the daytime. So in the daytime, it's festive. There are tons of people here. The sporting events, you've been to the venues. You can see how they operate. And at night, because of our phone call, I'm usually out running at this time. And it's nighttime, and there's families and people out on the streets and at the Olympic zones. So it's just fun to see the city come alive and to see how another big city handles this big worldwide event.
Mm-hmm. So what more do you still have to do this weekend?
Well, we've got some speed skating left to go. In fact, Brittany Bowe just finished racing. You guys will see that tomorrow. Our short track speed skaters still have a chance to medal. There's a figure skating gala where our Utah choreographer choreographed part of Ilya Molinen's routine. And so just some wrap-up things like that. And then, of course, closing ceremonies where they will officially make the handover to France, the French Alps, for 2030.
Mm-hmm. We've talked a lot about the Duomo, but what other fascinating things have you seen?
Oh,
you're running. What are you seeing on your run? That's what I want to know.
Well, I do. I see fashion. You would just die if you saw the people here. Women they wear fur. Even the guys wear fur. They wear heels. They're out on cobblestone streets in heels. The guys wear wool overcoats and scarves, Gucci scarves. It's a fashion show, and it's fun to watch. And like I said, just to be out here, pretty late at night at home, the streets would be deserted. Mm-hmm. And it's still busy, and it's people eat later here, so it's still really vibrant.
I'm curious, do you see other runners? Is that something that they are into back there as well?
No, I don't see very many.
Ah.
I don't see very many runners. Nope. In fact, I've been at the gym in our hotel, and I've only seen one other person.
You've been
in the
all
gym.
by yourself at the gym.
Yep.
It's been so fun to talk to you about all the things that are going on there and the different foods and chocolates and just all sorts of fun stuff.
It has been. It has been a real cultural experience, and one that it lasts with you. You know, you take it all back and you start to think of the whole experience, and makes you more eager for Salt Lake's turn. We were reflecting that at the Duomo, you know, there's this 600-year-old building. Well, there's nothing like that in Utah that we can show off or centerpiece. But some of the organizers for the French Alps, I was talking to them, and they said, well, you guys show off what you have. You have wonderful mountains. You'll have different cultural things to show off. And that was something that stuck with me.
All right. That's it. That is the next Olympics, right? 2030 in the French Alps?
Yep.
So as we wrap up, what do we have to look forward to in 2030 then?
What they said is they're kind of trying some different things that they've learned from Italy. The venues are farther apart, so they're not all closer. They're not even going to build a speed skating arena. They're going to borrow somebody else's, maybe Italy's, maybe the Netherlands. And they're trying to make it a vacation destination so that tourists, will come and ski for a week and just stay there and not bother to go to all the venues. Just stay there and ski and have the Olympic experience in one place.
All right, Deanie. Well, it's been so fun talking with you. Thank you for your great coverage.
Thanks. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, be safe now. And continued coverage of the Winter Games on KSL 5 TV tonight and all weekend. The closing ceremony will kick off at 12:30 in the afternoon on Sunday. And our thanks to our partners at KSL 5 TV and especially to Deanie for joining us each day on Midday to share their insights into the games. The 2026 Winter Games on Midday with Maria Shilaos, brought to you by America First Credit Union. America First Credit Union has everything you need to get your money working, so head to americafirst.com and become a member today. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877 Cars for Kids to donate your car today.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Students in Cache County getting a unique opportunity to talk to the stars. Not movie stars or anything like that, but real-life astronauts aboard the International Space Station.
November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra, this is Whiskey 7 India Victor Mike. We read you loud and clear. Are you ready for questions? Over.
And this is November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra, the International Space Station. We are ready for questions. Great to hear your voice. Over.
Roger.
Students attending the Center for Creativity, Innovation, and Discovery in Providence had the special chance to chat with astronauts Chris Williams and Jack Hathaway at the ISS as it passed over the United States. Now, several kids able to ask the experts about space and astronomy over the course of about 10 minutes.
My name is Lehigh. My question is, can you see storms from outer space? Over.
Hey, Lehigh, that's a great question. And yes, you can see storms from outer space. It's actually really, really cool because you can see lightning storms like flashes in the clouds, but looking from the top. So it's a really neat sight. Over.
My name is Zach, and my question is, what is the most uncomfortable bodily experience in space, like throwing up? Over.
Hey, Zach, that's also a good question. Well, when for the first time when you first get to space, It takes a little while for your body to get used to being in zero gravity. I never threw up, but you definitely feel a little bit. At least I felt a little bit nauseous for the first couple days, but then you get used to it and you get adapted and you get over it. Over.
My name is Scout, and my question is, what is the scariest thing you have encountered while in space? Over.
Hi, Scout. That's a great question. I would say we're trained for pretty much everything up here, so I don't think there's anything that I would say is scary, but it is certainly really difficult and hard being away from your family for a long time. Over.
My name is Levi, and my question is, how much detail can you see with the naked eye in space? Over.
Hey, Levi, great question. You can see actually a lot of detail. Looking down at the Earth, you can see cities, you can see the outlines of cities, but we're looking from 200 miles away, so everything still looks pretty small. It's kind of like looking out of an airplane window, but a lot higher up. Over.
My name is Dakota, and my question is, have you ever tried playing basketball in space? Over.
Hey, Dakota, great question. Not really basketball, but we have set up rings where we try to throw balls through them, which is really hard in zero gravity because your brain wants to think that the ball's going to arc like it does on Earth, but it just flies in a straight line. Over.
My name is Grant, and my question is, what's your favorite thing you've seen in space? Over.
Hey, Grant. I think the most impressive thing I've seen, the coolest thing I've seen in space was we had some really great northern lights just about a month ago, and the sky was just red and green all outside the window, and that was really neat. Over.
My name is Benson, and my question is, do you get cold in space? Over.
Hey, Benson, that's a great question. So, it can be cold and it can be hot in space. Inside the space station, we have really good climate control, so it's a pretty comfortable 74 degrees all year round. Over.
My name is Allie, and my question is, how long does it take to become an astronaut? Over.
Hi, Allie. Well, most of the people that are astronauts work really hard in their school and in their jobs before getting selected as an astronaut for many years. But then once you get selected as an astronaut, it takes about 2 years of training to be ready to be assigned to a mission, and then a couple more years of training once you're assigned to a mission. Over.
How fun was that for those students to be able to talk to the astronauts? And what cute questions. I like the basketball question. Maybe I'd have a chance of being good if I only have to throw a basketball in a straight line. Now, that event was supported by the Bridgerland Amateur Radio Club, who used good old-fashioned radio technology to make that connection. School leaders say the event was the culmination of months of school-wide STEM learning, hands-on engineering, and space-focused exploration. It's Friday, meaning it's time for a check-in on what's happening this weekend. I will chat with the Arrow's John Smith after the break, but first it's KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by UCCU, up to $500 for loan transfers. Love where you bank. Ricky Me, still emergency traffic.
Still emergency traffic. Now, fortunately, the crash on the northbound side of I-15 near Willard Bay really backed up traffic. That occurred over an hour ago. That's long since cleared. But the one on the southbound side, still there by Willard Bay, southbound I-15. The right lane is open, but drivers are just not wanting to travel that stretch. It is still causing a few miles of backup. The crash is in the cleanup stages in the downtown area. The final cleanup of an accident at 3rd North and 5th West. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
When you need a new water heater, you need it right now.
Yep, can't wait on that.
When you need a new furnace or a new air conditioner come the summertime, you need it right now. So Superior Water and Air has a wonderful program where they can help you with financing. If you need it, get it today and pay it off when you get your tax refund or just over time.
And that's one of the great things is they have multiple financing options. It's not just one, okay, you've got to do it this way. It's, you can wait till just after your tax refund. Well, what if you need no payments until later in the year?
Yeah.
They can work with you like that because, look, they want to help you get you back on your feet with the thing that doesn't work that you got to use.
Yeah.
And they'll just work with your situation. What a great way to do it.
I loved introducing you to my friends at Superior because they're just great people. And when you invite somebody into your home, you want to feel good about them.
Yeah, and they're so customer-centric. That was what really impressed me was they were they want it to work with me and my family, whatever needs we might have.
Right. They want your home to be safe and clean. Superior Water and Air. Here's the number, 801-872-8483, or go to superiorwaterandair.com.
Hi, Flo here from Progressive. You know, life changes quickly, so it's good to have flexible coverage.
Oh, you mean like adding another vehicle?
Yes, that's something we can do.
Great, because I was thinking about getting a van so we could just keep the kids' softball stuff in the car.
Oh, we don't need to get into specifics. Just saying it's easy to change.
Oh, and Hannah wants to try the tuba.
Again, we don't need the specifics.
Last year, she wanted to be a tap dancer, but that only lasted 2 lessons.
Okay.
But she kept the shoes because they are adorable.
Well, just know that with Progressive, you can easily add another car to your auto insurance because we know life changes.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
A family office is a team built to handle the 3 biggest financial responsibilities a family faces: wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning. Most firms only manage your investments and refer the rest out, hoping everyone stays aligned. At Trajan, we built something different. Your wealth, tax planning, and estate planning are handled together inside one firm under one roof. There's no guessing whether your CPA, advisor, and estate attorney are truly in sync, because our team works together every day on your behalf. When your financial life becomes more complex, your advice should become more coordinated, not more fragmented. One plan, one trusted team. Call Trajan today, 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. It's Friday and time for cool stuff in Utah with the Arrow's John Smith. So, John, what do you have for us to watch over this cold winter weekend?
So there are times where we'll go and we'll explore something that's like abandoned, or we'll go into old mines, or sometimes we'll go into places that you cannot access no matter what. So this week, I decided to just go completely opposite of all of those things and go to a place that is readily accessible and easy to find.
Why?
Well, you know, here's why.
I have to ask. Okay.
I went to the Little America Hotel.
Oh, okay.
And being born and raised here in Utah, the Little America has just, it's always been there. Now, it hasn't always been there. It's been there since like 1980. But for me,
it's always been there.
yeah, it's always been there, and it's right off the freeway. And everybody knows Little America. So I decided to get in touch with them and take the camera out and go explore.
Okay.
And man, I got the full deal. I got the full history, which was really fun.
So tell us.
So
give us some idea. Not all of it. Don't
Little
give everything
America
away.
starts way back in the 1930s, out in Wyoming. Story goes that guy driving from here to there gets stuck in a snowstorm, and he makes a deal saying, "Hey, praying to whatever deity he worshipped. I don't know the details, but if I get out of this, I am going to put a truck stop here so that nobody ever gets stuck out here ever again." And that Little America is still there.
It is. I have seen it. I
Yeah.
have driven by it.
So that same Little America has now become the Little America Hotel here in Salt Lake, the Grand America here in Salt Lake, which I haven't been in yet, but I plan to. I mean, I've been in there, just not with a kid.
You saw me raise my eyebrows. I'm like,
You know,
what?
yeah, we go and we go and stay there when it's a special occasion.
High tea is amazing.
Oh my gosh, isn't that
is
fun?
all I'm gonna say.
So, and they have a great ice cream store in there too. Have you had the ice cream at the Grand America?
I have peeked in there. I have not actually had the ice cream.
Oh, so much fun.
Okay,
so
but
much
you
fun.
digress. We were talking about Little America and have
Across
ended
the
up
street.
with Grand America here. Okay.
Right. So presidents have stayed there, rock stars, movie stars, film producers, amazing history right there at the counter, including one time where I met Wilford Brimley.
Wilford
Do you remember Wilford Brimley?
Of course.
Diabetes.
Yeah.
I was having brunch with my family for Mother's Day, and Wilford Brimley was walking right past the brunch restaurant going into the little diner cafe. And I said, "Hey, are you Wilford Brimley?" And he looked at me and he goes, "I don't have time to talk to you." And he just kept walking, and I was like, wow, that was amazing.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you said you've been there for brunch. That's where you saw Wilford Brimley. Did you have the clam chowder?
I did not.
Oh my goodness, you have to have the clam chowder, and you
I
have
don't
to
like
have,
clams or chowder. Sorry, go ahead.
and they have great rolls as well.
I didn't mean to cut you off on your own
Thanks.
show.
It's fine. It's fine.
You want to know what's coming up this week?
I absolutely. Is there anything coming up other than the Olympics?
Well, the closing ceremonies of the Olympics are going to be going on this weekend. But we have Yo-Yo Ma performing Sunday in town. Can you believe that?
No. Where?
He'll be at the Noorda Center for the Performing Arts.
Okay.
And then, because there's no Mammoth this week, because of the Olympics, the Jazz are on the road until Thursday. But the Utah Grizzlies are at the Maverick Center playing their final season. You got some home games coming up over the next few days. You can go check those out.
And you should, because again, you said it's the final season.
Yeah. And
All right.
get you some clam chowder.
It's cold weather. People should know that they have really great soups.
I don't know that I've ever had clam chowder, if I'm being honest.
Okay, well, if you don't like clams, of course not. Okay, so what else did you see at the Little America that maybe we don't see?
I got to go tour some of the VIP suites. I got to tour in the back of the kitchen, and I got to see some of the historic areas that are not always available to the public. And so it's all on the video, which you can find on YouTube, on the Arrow website, on the KSL News Radio website, on the apps. And basically just Google cool stuff in Utah. It'll pop right up for you.
And I will say that I've never been able to see any of the suites. I can't imagine why. I've never seen any of their suites.
You do get a great shot of me in a robe and a shower cap enjoying one of the suites before they said, hey, you need to
You're out
pay
of here.
for those. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
right.
thanks to Little America for letting us hang out.
And you can find all of John's cool stuff and videos on YouTube. Have you stayed at Little America?
I have to think. I